Hey my people, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial we're going to be going over 4 different ways to launch an AWS EC2 instance. We're going to be talking about using the console to launch the AWS EC2 instance, using the CLI, using CloudFormation, and also using Terraform. AWS Console is the easiest way to launch an EC2 instance. It's really ideal for quick and one-off instance, but it's really manual if you want to launch multiple instances or launch resources and keep them consistent. It's really kind of difficult to do that. With the CLI, you can launch resources with just a few commands, and this is best for DevOps and scripting. If you do mostly everything from the CLI, then this is perfect for you. CloudFormation is an infrastructure as code, and this is native to AWS, just like some other cloud providers have theirs, like Azure and GCP. This is native to AWS. What does infrastructure as code mean? Well, imagine the way you deploy the EC2 instance or your resources with the console. Imagine instead of clicking around and deploying everything on the console, you have a code that you can just push a button and it deploys it for you, or you just upload and it deploys it for you, and it's always consistent. That's where CloudFormation comes into play. You can either use YAML or JSON templates to deploy the CloudFormation. Now, Terraform is much like CloudFormation, but the difference between Terraform and CloudFormation is Terraform is cloud agnostic, meaning you can use Terraform to deploy on various cloud providers. You can use the same template, tweak it a little bit, the same syntax, but you use it to deploy either in Azure, GCP, Oracle, or anywhere else you want to deploy to. While CloudFormation is just native to AWS, you can use CloudFormation on Azure, but Terraform you can use it on any cloud provider, as long as they are providers with Terraform. For this, we need some prerequisites, which is you must have installed AWS CLI, download and install AWS CLI, download and install Terraform. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code as my IDE, but you can use any IDE you want, Sublime or anyone you want, but in my case I'll be using Visual Studio Code. And that's it for the housekeeping. Let's go ahead and get started with this. For AWS CLI, you can come to their website here and download and install whichever one you want for your operating system. Terraform, you can get Terraform, download for anyone you want for your system. If you need to know what commands to run, if you want to do some other projects, come to providers. For me, I'm using AWS. Click on AWS, go to documentation, and it gives you code on anything you want to deploy here, so you can just walk through this. And I love to read documentations. And so let's go to the console. So one of the things we have to do in the console is go to Identity and Access Management. Now, if you've downloaded AWS CLI, then you need to configure it. I have downloaded it already. I'm just going to configure it for this account. So go to Users, go to the user, go to Security Credentials. Now I'm going to create a key pair, because this is how you interact with the CLI, SDK, API. So I'm going to create a key pair. I'm trying to use it for the command line interface. I understand. Next, the key pair name, I'm gonna name it my new key pair, then create key pair. So before I show this, I'm gonna go to my Visual Studio Code. Since I've downloaded the CLI already, I'm gonna see if I can configure it. So this is my account here. So I'm gonna do AWS. Let's see what version I have. So you see here I have my versions. The CLI is already downloaded and everything. So now I want to configure. It's going to ask me for my access key. So we're going to go back to the console. This is the access key. Copy the access key. Go back to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to paste it here. Then it's going to ask me for my secret access key. Go back. Copy secret access key, go back to Visual Studio Code and paste it here. For the region, you can leave it as US East 1. For the output format, JSON is fine. And that's it, it's been configured. But how do we know it's been configured? Now let's check and see. Let's see AWS IAM list users. Let's see. So there you go. This shows you that the IDE has been integrated with AWS account, because it's showing the user we have here, admin. I am admin. And the user we have here is I am admin, so we're good to go. So now what we're going to do now is go ahead and launch an EC2 instance. The first stage is to launch an EC2 instance using the console. So click on EC2 instance, go to launch instance. Now the name, we're going to name it my console EC2. For the AMI, we're going to pick the free tier AMI. Now open a text editor and copy the AMI code. We're going to use it in setting up the CLI and through Terraform. So copy the AMI and paste it somewhere. Okay, and this is the AMI I'm going to use. We're going to use T2 micro as the instance type. Then key pair, we want to create a new key pair, so I'm going to create a new key pair. And it's going to be .pem. So let's go ahead and enter a key pair name. I'm going to name this my four-way key pair, and then create key pair. So it's going to download it for me. That's fine, and that's what I'm going to use. So every other thing, we have our VPC here, security group. We don't need to, I don't want to create a new security group. I'm just going to pick an existing security group. Use the default security group right here. So you should note the security group name. So copy the security group name, the security group ID, copy it and paste it somewhere, because we're going to use it later. So keep going. EC2 instance, so launch. This is just a simple high-level tutorial on how to do this. So click over here on the EC2 instance, and it's going to take you over to the console, and this is the EC2 instance. It's already configured and running. So that's stage 1 through the console. We just launch an EC2 instance. Now we're going to launch using the CLI. So now I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code. Let's see, expand this all the way. I'm going to clear. So since I've configured my CLI with the, my AWS account, I can launch my EC2 instance from here right now. So clear. Okay, so the second part is to launch your EC2 instance using the CLI, and for this part you want to go back to your Visual Studio Code. Make sure you are in your downloads folder where you downloaded the keeper, and then from there you want to run the first command we're going to set up for is AWS EC2 run instance. Then I want to break this down into different lines. That's why I have this backslash here. So the first one is AWS EC2 run instance, then enter. Then the second one is where you had your CLI, your AMI, copy the AMI, and the next command is going to be image ID. Enter your AMI there, enter. Instance type, get your instance type. For us, we're going to be using T2 micro, so instance type is going to be type T2.micro. Then enter. Then key name, paste it there, enter your key name. For me, my key name is my 4-way keeper. And get the security group ID. The security group ID you copied earlier, paste it right there, enter. Then let's tag it with a name that that's gonna differentiate it from the other name we have on the EC2 instance. So go ahead and paste it there. Let's change the name. So for the value, let's name this my CLI EC2. So let's just double check to make sure everything is fine. So AWS EC2 run instance, image ID, we have the image ID, EC2 type T2 micro, key name, we have the key name, security group ID, we have it, then the tag. Okay, everything looks good to me. Go ahead and enter. There you go, it's set up, everything looks good. So if you go ahead and go to your console and refresh go to instances, you should see my CLI EC2 already running, initializing. So that's the second one. First one console, second one CLI. Now let's go and try using CloudFormation. So go back to Visual Studio Code. So here we're going to create some files. So let's create a folder on this local machine. So open new folder. I'm going to name the folder, let's see, my downloads, or let's say desktop. I'm going to create a new folder. It's going to be Terraform 2, create, open. So this is the Terraform 2 folder we just created. In the folder we're going to create some files. The first one is going to be so since we are launching a CloudFormation template, remember I told you CloudFormation uses JSON or YAML. In this case we're going to be using YAML, and the file, I'm going to name it EC2 instance .yaml, since it's a YAML file. Enter, and this is it right here. So I have a YAML template. There it is. So this is the YAML template right here that we're going to use. This is just a simple EC2 instance. So here what it's just saying is this is the version of the template we're using. The resources we are going to be deploying as EC2 instance. Resource type is EC2 instance. So here the properties of what we're going to be deploying, EC2 instance type. So we have t2.micro. So go ahead and enter t2.micro. Image ID, which is the AMI, go ahead and copy the same AMI ID from earlier. Paste it between the quotation marks here. There you go, AMI ID. The key name is my 4-way key pair. So for tags, this is the name of the name, then the value. We can call this my CloudFormation EC2. Go ahead and save. Let's just double check to make sure everything is good. So yes, everything looks good. So for this, we can either deploy it from the CLI here, or we can go to AWS Console and deploy it from there. I'm gonna try both. So let's go to AWS Console, go to CloudFormation. I already tagged it here, but you can find it right here by searching. So go to CloudFormation. So we're gonna be creating a stack. So we're going to be choosing an existing template. We're going to upload a new template. So choose a file. So if you go to your desktop, we have the tf2 ec2.yaml. Open. There you go. So it provides you with an S3 URL because it saved this in the S3 URL. You save this in your in an S3 bucket. It's going to create, it provide you with an S3 URL. So you can go ahead and click next. So for the name, I'm just going to name it my EC2 stack. And then next. Nothing. Let's go ahead and click next. For all, just leave as default, then submit. It should start creating this for you right now. Create in process. So right now it's trying to create the EC2 instance for you. If you keep refreshing, it's going to tell you it's in progress, and it's going to continue until it's deployed for you. While this is deploying, let's check out the EC2 instance. Go to instances. Let's see. There you go. CloudFormation already deployed for us. But to try this from using the CLI, let's go ahead and go back to Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna open up a CLI from, so right now I'm in this folder, so I'm gonna open, I'm in this my TF2 folder. I'm gonna open a CLI from the folder, so I'm in the folder right here. So I'm gonna run this command from the CLI. Let's see here. So to differentiate, let me see. So I'm gonna create, so AWS create stack. So using this one right here, I'm gonna create another stack to show you that I can create both from the CLI and also uploading the YAML file. So go ahead and enter. An error. What happened? Oh, the name. So I already have a stack name with the same name, so I'm gonna just change the stack name. I'm gonna add CLI, my EC2 CLI stack, and then enter. So you should go ahead and create a stack for us. Now if you go back to the AWS console and refresh, you should see CloudFormation, and you should see the next. Let's just refresh. So you should see two CloudFormations, one from the CLI and one from the console. So lastly, we're going to use Terraform to deploy an EC2 instance. So let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. So we're going to create another file again here. So I'm going to call this Terraform.tf. .tf just signifies it's a Terraform file. Open. So I'm gonna copy my code to deploy. This is just a simple code, nothing serious. So here we have the provider is AWS. So remember I told you with Terraform it's cloud agnostic, you can use it with multiple providers. So here we have defined our provider as AWS. The region we want to deploy this into is going to be US East 1. Now the resource we're going to be deploying is EC2, AWS instance, EC2 instance. So that's what we're going to be deploying. Now the AMI, we have to copy the AMI ID. Go ahead and copy the same AMI ID we've been using. We're going to use the same AMI ID. Paste it in between the quotation marks here. Instance type is going to be t2.micro. Key name my 4-way key pair. Now for the tag, let's name this one my Terraform EC2 and then save. Let's see here, everything looks good. Okay, so from here, from this folder, I'm gonna open another CLI. So I'm gonna open another CLI. So from the TF2, so in the folder I'm gonna open another CLI here, then I'm gonna type Terraform init. So Terraform is gonna go ahead and check my provider to make sure my provider is valid and the version and everything is good to go. Once it checks, it's gonna come back and tell me everything is good. There you go, everything is good. So now I want Terraform to plan where it's gonna deploy for me and let me know if everything is good to go. So Terraform plan, it's gonna check and tell me, okay, this is what you're trying to do, these are the stuffs you're trying to create, the AMI. So notice I can add so many parameters here if I want, but this is just a simple EC2 instance. So my instance type, my key pair, telling me everything I want to deploy. Okay, that's good by me. So I'm gonna Terraform apply. Now I want it to auto approve, so I'm gonna auto approve, because if I don't use auto approve, it's gonna come back again and tell me to approve. So I just want this to approve and go. So auto approve, it's gonna go ahead and deploy the EC2 instance for me. Right here it's saying EC2 instance is being created. To give it a few seconds. So if you go back to the console, see everything is good. If you go back to the console and refresh, we have Terraform EC2. So we have the CLI, CloudFormation. We created two CloudFormations, Terraform and console. So everything has been created. Everything is running. The Terraform is still initializing. These are the IPs. They all use the same key pair. And there you go. That's it. This is how you create instance, EC2 instance, using 4 different ways. Which we use the CLI. We started with the console. With the console, we got the ID and the security group and key pair and everything. Then we went to CLI, created using the CLI. We created using CloudFormation. CloudFormation, the first one we used the console to create using CloudFormation by uploading the file. The second one we used the CLI. We used the CLI to create the CloudFormation EC2 instance, and the last one we use Terraform to create. And that's how you can, the many ways you can create an EC2 instance. This just gives you an idea of how you can interact with your resources on AWS using different platforms depending on your needs. But right now we're going to go ahead and close everything out. So let's see here. So for the Terraform, so apply, if you look down here, it says apply complete resources, 1 added, 0 changed, 0 destroyed. Now to destroy or to terminate our instance here, we just have to go here and like, okay, Terraform destroy. It's gonna destroy. We can auto approve too. That way it doesn't come back and ask us to approve. So auto approve. It's gonna go ahead and start breaking down and destroying the instances, and it's gonna tell you everything it's doing here. So while this is deleting, let's go back to the console and just check. Let's refresh. The Terraform should be terminating right now. See, shutting down and terminating. There you go. let's terminate the console. So go to the console, click on it, instance state, you can go ahead and terminate. Yes, terminate. Go to CloudFormation, we should have 2 stacks. Refresh. See, this is the initial stack, my EC2 stack, and this is the EC2 CLI stack. Go ahead, click on this and delete stack. So we can also delete the other stack here that we created, or we can go back to the CLI and delete it. So since we're here already, I'm just going to go ahead and delete it right here. So let's go back to EC2 instances, refresh. We should see 1, 2, 3, 4 shutting down. So we only have the CLI EC2 instance. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code. There you go. So go ahead and close this. This is also done. Go ahead and close this. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete. I'm gonna open a new. So I'm gonna go back. CD downloads. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna terminate it from the CLI, and it's gonna be AWS EC2 terminate instances. Then you're gonna provide the instance ID. Go ahead and copy your instance ID right here. So don't create it from the CLI. Go ahead and copy that. Come back, paste it right there, and then enter. There you go. It should go ahead and terminate the instance for you. So if you go back to the console, refresh, it should be shutting down. And that's it, guys. So in this video we went ahead and showed you guys how to launch an EC2 instance using 4 ways. The first one was using the console, the second one was using the CLI, the third one was using CloudFormation. I showed you how to either upload the file or use the CLI to just launch the instance. And then Terraform, you can use Terraform to launch instance or reach your resources from anywhere. So there you go. If you have any questions, let me know which one you like the most, which one is easier for you. I know the console is easier, but which one works for you the best in the comment. Let me know which one which one works for you best in the comment. So thank you very much for watching my video. Hope you have a good day. God bless.